Cinderella, the latest in Disney's series of live-action remakes of the classic animated films. How does this remake of the classic fairy tale hold up? It's actually pretty good. It's actually very well done, very creative, and offers a very fresh and original take on the fairy tale. It does this by elaborating on the actual world that Cinderella lives in, explaining who she was. She was originally the daughter of a merchant, and his pursuit for a new love is what led to the inception of the evil stepmother and the evil stepsisters, who, while still being the villain in this story, her motivation for being evil and treating Cinderella like garbage is actually because she's actually a gold digger. But the reason she's a gold digger is because she wants to be able to provide a good financial future for herself and her daughters. And to that end, they had to basically turn Cinderella into their sole servant while firing the rest of the staff. And in the case of the prince wanting to marry Cinderella, okay, the other villain, an archduke, he wants the prince to marry a princess from a neighbouring kingdom to secure military might and security for the prince's kingdom. And the two actually work together to prevent Cinderella from finding the prince. That in itself actually makes this much more mature and complex for an adult, making it easier for them to actually enjoy it, while at the same time presenting itself simple enough for children to really get into it, or to say it more simply, it's complex and mature enough for adults while simple enough for kids. And unlike the previous entry in this live-action remake series, Cinderella is much more consistent with its tone and the flow of its story than Maleficent was. Like, there's no dark peaks and valleys, there's no what-the-hell moments, there's just consistency. It's all consistent. Unfortunately, that can be a bit of an Achilles heel at times, as the whimsical fairy tale tone which permeates throughout the entirety of the movie can actually get pretty annoying at times and even a bit dull. And everything you're seeing is whimsical and enchanting. It's kinda... yeah, you're not really gonna get a huge kick out of it. And then there's Cinderella herself as a character. Really doesn't undergo any significant growth or character development. Like, the lesson she learnt as a child from her mother, always be kind and life will be kind to you, she just keeps applying that throughout the entirety of the movie, even when the evil stepmother keeps kicking her and stepping on her and just putting her down. She just keeps doing the same thing, and while it does pay off in the end, it doesn't really make her a very memorable character. Hell, the stepmother's actually the real star of the story. She steals the spotlight just by being so much more fleshed out, with her desire just to provide for her daughters. And when you take into account things like Cinderella talking to the animals, and the actual communication with the mice, and even when she meets the fairy godmother that turns the pumpkin into the carriage, if you look at it from the right angle, the movie suddenly has a really dark undertone, which, as much as I hate to say this, does kind of work against it. If you look at it from the right perspective, it's basically a movie about a mental breakdown. Yeah, I went there. All in all, Cinderella is actually a rather pleasing movie that, as I said before, is mature enough for adults and simple enough for kids, and is a strong indicator of the direction in terms of quality that all the future live-action Disney movies may soon go in.